Hey guys, we are back with one of our final videos in our training series. Today's video is going to focus on the News to You component of ULS. So the purpose of News to You is basically to take modified newspapers and use them to build on literacy skills and bring current events to our students' attention. So things that they are hearing on the news, the radio, maybe they're hearing their parents talk about it or you talk about it in the classroom. It's just going to give them an attention getter. ULS is available for all grade bands. And so the purpose of today's video is I'm going to teach you how you can utilize this in your classroom to enhance your instruction. So once you sign in on your ULS account, you're going to just click on the little newspaper that says News to You. This will bring us to our homepage, and this just shows us the different sections here that we have in the News to You. So the first thing, I'm going to come over to my left-hand navigation bar, and I'm going to come to the current events. So we have one new modified newspaper every week for the entire school year. So every Thursday, I believe, News to You releases the new newspaper. Okay, once a paper is released, they'll actually keep that article online for 2 weeks at a time. So if you need to spend a little bit more time on a certain topic, you have the ability to do so. You'll notice here at the top, we have a couple different tabs. So regular is just going to be our traditional modified newspaper, and it's going to be set up just how a newspaper would be set up. Higher is going to be just that. It's going to have a more complex sentence structure. Simplified is going to be a condensed version of the paper, but still on the same topic. This would be great for our kindergarten through first grade friends. Okay. Advanced is going to be the highest level of a paper, and then the text only is just that. It's the same paper, but there's no symbol supports. Okay, so you'll notice here we have two papers available, and you'll see which day it was released. So if we come down here to read newspaper, it is going to bring me right to an iDoc. Okay, so the cool thing about the iDoc is you really have the freedom to kind of customize it based on what's going to work for your students and your population, and you can use it right here on your smartboard. So if we're here on this page, over here on the right, we see a little bar. So this is what I mean by kind of the freedom to customize. You can zoom it in if you need to zoom it in. Hitting a little plus sign that kind of brings it that way. You can zoom it out. You can make it real big to fit the whole screen. Okay, you can rotate it. This allows you to bring up a pen. So if you want to have students come to circle one of the vocab words, or maybe you want them to underline the title or the date it was released, that'd be a great option. This button here is going to read the paper from the start of the page to the end of the page. So that gives us an option, or you can always have a student come and just click on that first word of the sentence, and it's the same thing. It'll read just that sentence. Okay. Over on the left side is our globe. By clicking on the globe, it's going to bring out a little bar. So home is going to take us back to the home page of the current events section. You can print from here. So if you want to download it as a PDF and print out this, you can do that. You can erase what you might have written on. Hiding symbols is going to do just that. It's going to take my symbols away, and the student will only have text. So maybe you have some students who don't require the symbols. You can come here and hide it, but then bring them back for a student who might need them. You can hide this navigation bar so they don't have to get distracted by it. And we also have the lock panel, which basically locks my board in place so they can't come and move it all over the place. Okay. And if we look at the settings here, spend a little time on this. This is, again, another way that you can customize this iDoc. So you can change the reading speed. Okay. You can change if you want the right answer highlighted or not. That little incentive video, so the or the boing if something's wrong. You can take that away, as we know that can become pretty stimulating for some of our friends. All right, you can change the answer selection, the highlighting color. So maybe if you have some students with visual impairments, you can go ahead and change that. Our differentiated levels can be changed here for like a math problem if we're on a math page. So a lot of flexibility to kind of do what you want and what's going to work best for your students. Okay. We take a look here on the first page at the bottom. It used to be a little iPad, but now it just says to click here for more info, and it is just that. So if we click on that, the first page of every article is going to bring up additional resources. So this is just a website about Special Olympic facts for kids. So if we are, reading about this, it's going to tell us important information like where it's located, key people, different places it's held. Sometimes there might be a video shown in there for the kids. So another way to kind of grab their attention before we start reading the article. The thing I'm going to highlight here is this Go page. This is how you're going to navigate through the paper on sections, because we know that, this whole paper might be pretty intensive and some things are important and some things might not be as important to your classroom. So if we hit go, the first thing is always going to be our key article. So what was the entire paper supposed to be about is going to be that first section. Okay, we talk about groups in the news. So this is going to be, the people or the group that it's about, the location of where this current story is taking place. All of the News2you papers always have a recipe that's attached to it. So this is just a fun way to, get your students to work in small groups together or completing an activity in sequence. So students have a lot of fun with those. We always have 2 jokes with every paper. This is a game page, but again, it's going to be about the key article. So this one is to look for pictures that we found that were in the story. So again, it's using those visual supports with them. So again, it's an interactive document, so they can come here and choose an answer.
Athletes.
And it lets them know that they got that correct.
Honeybee.
And it lets them know if they got it incorrect. This is going to be our review page. So these are just kind of like our comprehension questions about what the story was about. And the simplified version actually is going to only have 3 to 4 questions, as opposed to 6 like the regular or advanced would. If you have students that enjoy doing puzzles, you have that option. There's a Sudoku page, but with visuals instead of numbers. I really like the think page because it's always prompted questions that you can get, input from the students on. And it's fun to do this as a group to see, what are differences or similarities between the kids. And, you could even pull in your symbol sticks with this as well. So if we're talking about what is our favorite sport, for our friends that are nonverbal, we might go to the symbol sticks page and make a quick board of different types of sports like tennis, basketball, soccer, and then have them touch, make a choice what their favorite sport might be from that array. So it's still a great way to interact with our kids. The words is just going to be those keywords from the story that we're talking about continuously on every page. And then we have our printing page. So if we need to print anything out and cut and paste it for different activities, we have that. Okay, so if we go back to our globe, we're going to go home. That brings us here to our current events. Okay. Underneath each newspaper, we have extension activities, and these are going to be more real life representations of the topic. So we might see some more pictures, but they're going to be real life as opposed to symbols. And then we have some more discussion questions. Again, you can do the same thing on this page. I would navigate using the go bar here. Oh, here comes an extension activity. So this one is giving us a real life picture of the Olympic torch and how we write, how they light it. Okay, here's another page here. So it's an extension activity and it's talking about runs for Special Olympics. So would you like to be a police officer? Why?
Would you
So,
like to be a police officer? Why?
okay, so it's talking about law enforcement and it gives them that discussion question, that opportunity to discuss on that page. And there's just several related to that. Okay, and we always have some review questions that go along with the different extension activities. So you'll find quite a bit. There's always a video here. So if we click on it, it'll bring us to a video. And the students can watch. That's the extension activity. Okay, I'm going to go back to my globe here, show you a couple more things here on these current issues. The other option that we have is News2you always supplies a communication board that's set up very much like what we would see in a ULS lesson. So definitely a great way to kind of print and have that on hand for our friends that need it. Okay. We obviously can download the entire paper as a PDF. So if we go ahead and click that, it'll then again ask you, you know, which one of these do you want? Regular, higher, simple, or whatever. You can download that and print it out. We also have all of the communication boards available, the corresponding worksheets, and any of the extension activities. So anything here can be printed out in a PDF as well. Okay. We also offer a bunch of additional materials. So you'll notice here that just like the ULS with the suggested monthly plan, we also have a suggested weekly plan. So if you are just getting used to News2you and how it's set up, and you know there are a lot of worksheets, this is going to give you a great idea of what it is you can utilize on different days. Okay. So here on Monday, we get the news story, we do the weather and the breaking news. We do a words page, activity 1. So again, it gives us kind of a pacing guide of how we should go through our week. There is also lesson plans available and they look just like the ULS ones. So you would just select your grade band that you're working on. And it'll bring it up and you'll see here that it's laid out exactly the same way. Okay. So again, it's going to tell us what instructional targets we have in our lesson plan. It's going to talk about the different differentiated levels that we have. Here's our lesson at a glance, if you will, of like instructional targets. Lesson at a glance here. And this will be linked so you can click on those to take right to whatever is the suggestion. Okay. So you have those available as well with each of the papers. And then these are how they align to the different standards. There's also a blank lesson plan form if you read it, and then a progress monitoring PDF. Any of the worksheets that we have here can also be assigned to our students in their student view. So if we come up to the navigation bar under the News2you, the next tab is going to be breaking news. So again, these are different ways that we can gain our students' attention on topics that are happening in our world here and now. Have a baby gorilla born, so we talk about world news. And if we bring that up, it'll be set up very similar to our newspaper. The first page is going to be advanced reading of it with an actual picture of it. You'll notice the link here as well. Okay. And then as we get into the regular version here, we notice that our symbols are now supported. And we always offer a review page for the students. So again, it's a great way to kind of bring current events to them. Okay, so you'll notice we have world news, things that are going on in the sports world, and then things that are going on in the entertainment world. So many different activities. There's something particular that you want to look for, like if there was an earthquake recently, see if that'll pop up. Okay, so the last earthquake we had was in February. We had a story about it. And usually what it'll do is it takes you to where it happened on the map. Let me go back. So if I just put my finger cursor over it, and this is a world record one, so it looks like it happened in England, it'll kind of show me where that is on the map. So that's pretty cool as well. It gives us a visual representation. Here's another one from Los Angeles, Platypus News, in Australia. So pretty cool, especially for our students who really like to know where something is. Okay. So that is our breaking news tab. The next thing is the today's weather. So again, today's weather is a great thing to be using, in the mornings as we're greeting students and talking about, natural disasters or like blizzards, temperature outside. So this is just kind of an extension of that. It is a interactive document. So the students can, choose.
Thursday.
And it goes through the months of the year.
May.
And the date.
31st.
Okay, what was the weather today?
Rainy.
What's the temperature outside?
Cool.
Okay, and then, this is a fun activity here to kind of dress somebody in the classroom, what they might be wearing. Choose their bottoms.
Make a choice.
Oh, okay.
Bottoms, sweatbands.
And this is a great thing to kind of
tops.
talk about with our students. So if it's cold outside,
tank top.
be like, it's cold outside. Do you really think you need a tank top? Like, what would happen if you wore a tank top outside and it's cold? I'd be shivering. So what else could you wear?
T-shirt.
Just build on some of those skills.
Shoes. Sandals. Make a choice. Hats. Hats. No hat. No accessory. Outerwear. No outerwear.
And then when you're done, it kind of brings you here so you guys can all take a look together. Shows you that it was like raining outside, it's cool, and it shows our little friend all dressed. So that's a great way to kind of involve everybody in the class. Even our friends who might not be able to talk, at least they could come up and choose a choice for us on the answer board. Activities page is the next tab in the bar. And the first thing I'm going to bring your attention to up here is the activity leveling information. So if I click on this, it's going to show me those 3 differentiated levels in ULS, which we know as to be like participation is the first one. So those require the most amount of prompting and support, right? Level 2 is somewhat independent, but still needs some assistance. And then level 3 is our most independent students. So if we take a look at the different pages of worksheets here, it'll let us know like which ones are appropriate for a level 1 student, right? We don't want to give a level 1 student, something in a level 3 because they're not going to be able to complete it. We have our recipe pages, science pages, and then the craft pages here. And this is just a printing guide if you want to print them out in bulk. So I would normally print that out and kind of have that handy because there are a lot of worksheets. And so that way it was easy for me to see which ones were appropriate for which group I was pulling. And these are all of the different worksheets here. We'll just go ahead and pull one up so you guys can see kind of how it looks. All right, symbol matching. Again, this is an iDoc, but you can also go and print it out on the current events page where it says download PDF. There's an option for worksheet all. Again, the actual worksheets never change the order. So matching is always going to be page 4. It's just the symbols will change, right? So the content changes, but the actual work does not change. So once you kind of get into a habit of, okay, I'm going to print out page 23 because I know that's sequencing a sentence, that's always going to be that page. Okay. So again, you could download and print this as a PDF. You could cut and paste it and have them match it that way. This just allows me to
Athletes.
work it as an iDoc. Okay. So definitely utilize the activity leveling information as you're trying to decide which worksheets you want to work on for which students. And it'll go all the way through here for the math and then the crafts and the science. Okay. And then at the top, you'll notice the 2 different stories. So making sure that you are highlighting the story that you are working on. Okay. In the menu bar, the next one is the class news. So class news is set up just like the daily weather, where we get the opportunity to make choices and interact with our classmates to complete a article or our own newspaper. All right, so it gives us first an opportunity to kind of look at what classes we might have, you know, if we're going on a field trip, but then it really dives deep into asking our classmates questions. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite, you know, class at school, I believe. So again, you can kind of customize these as you see fit for your friends. Yep. So working down our way here, the next one is holidays. I love the holidays because they have pretty much every single US and Canadian holiday available. You can do it as an interactive or as a PDF. And I like that they put it in like sequential order of the school year. So as you are working on, you know, different things, you can come back and find what you need easy. I always thought these were great for like days that we weren't going to be in school, to kind of give them a reason of why it was we were not in school. You know, so like for Labor Day in September when we come back, you know, we don't have school on that Monday. Well, why is that? So we would, you know, take a look at the iDoc or download it as a PDF and send it home with them for the weekend so they could take a look. But again, set up the exact same way as the current issues and the breaking news. First page here is going to be pretty real life pictures and gives you an option here for more information. Okay, and then as we click go here, we notice that now when we move to the regular, we have our symbol sticks back. If it'll load here for me. Okay, so you can see here that those are back. So those are the holidays. So definitely take a look at those. You could level up in a way by using the symbol sticks and going on and creating like a bingo board or some sort of other board wizard activity for the holiday. Those are always fun to do with the kids and they really enjoy holiday stuff. Okay, so the Joey's Locker is the next thing we're going to take a look at here. So Joey's Locker is going to be the fun games that we can do with our children. And they both play off of one of the current event stories. So there's just building a word. So that's kind of like a hangman. We have a memory game, which is cool. The quiz will just bring up different shapes or numbers or letters or maybe symbols from the story. And they have to answer those in kind of like a Jeopardy style. We have tic-tac-toe and then word searches. So again, this should not be your instruction. It's just something that should complement it and enhance it. Okay. Over here as well, we always have a little interactive, if you will. The Let's Go is going to be like a geography sort of activity here. So you'll be able to kind of see how you would travel through this story.
Let's go.
Okay. So it gives you a little background and you can kind of click on the
Let's go
different.
to Chicago, Illinois. How would you like to go there?
Okay. I'm gonna take the train and it'll give me a video as if I was to travel to Chicago on the train. Okay, so that's a pretty cool interactive way. They usually always have a let's go, and then the other one they'll have is a spotlight, which is going to be a vocational activity. So a vocation that follows the story here. So this one is about the Denver Art Festival. Okay, so this is talking about a chalk artist, the vocation of being a chalk artist. And again, you get to see a real life picture of actual chalk art, and then we get the sentence with the symbol supports attached to it. So great way to bring that piece back to our students. Okay. The last section we're going to take a look at, we have two more, sorry, is versus the planning. So if you are somebody that likes to work ahead, these are the upcoming topics. So they should have these released to you. I think like a week or so before, so you can kind of get your ideas down. So the next one looks like in June, it'll be about the RoboCup. So this kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect to see or talk about with your students then. If you are a class that does the recipes, you can have early access here to the recipe guide and print it out. So maybe you take your students on community-based field trips and you guys go to Walmart or Harris Teeter or Publix and grocery shop for your items. You have this available early on that you can kind of plan that. Okay. And the last thing is this extra materials here. So they're going to be just that. It's a lot of blank templates here. So, you know, let's talk about, we'll go to the movies here. So if we went to the movies on a field trip, we have a blank template here. Our students could write the title, the director, what was the movie about. So again, you could go into Symbol 6, create some symbols for your students, cut and paste. They can rate the movie and where did we watch it at. Okay, so a lot of blank templates on here that you guys can definitely utilize. And then we have some holiday songs here. I always like the Pledge of Allegiance here under extras. It just provided the Pledge of Allegiance, but with symbols, so that I could paste it in my classroom so my students could see it. Okay. What else? The communication strips, we have those available. Also the state outline. So if you are studying states and capitals, or you're doing a project about a state, you can, you know, have these available for them to print out and then color. Just different resources that you really don't have to take any extra time to make anything. And then these are just different websites here that support the unique learning system and how you can use those in addition to the ULS. Okay, so I hope this video was really helpful as we are navigating the News2you portion of the platform. And again, this is just going to be those papers, newspapers, if you will, that are modified and here to gain our students' attention. News2you is a great resource to use with your kids, but it should not be your primary mode of instruction. It is not a curriculum, if you will, it just supports the curriculum. So always reach out if you have any questions or need help with anything.